Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Okay, so this is the second round draw for the 28th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game. And for this round, we have 15 Lucky Bastards remaining in the game. Just quickly run through those names again. They are Baron von Rattus, Bellatrix, Boom Shakalaka, Captain Quebec, Costradamus, It's Your Boy SB, Jack Soto, KK Kombu, our reigning defending Lucky Bastard champion. Rigno, Shat, Schwer Industry, me, Stephen Terry, who miraculously survived the first round, Troz, Ubermatch, and ex-con Chris. Okay, so there are 15 remaining Lucky Bastards. And for this round, we have UFC Fight Night, Josh Emmett versus Leroy Murphy. And it's a bit of a I say a bit of a cliche now, isn't it, for me to start these videos by saying that uh the main event of a fight night card is a veteran versus an up and comer. But again, that is pretty much what the UFC have given us here. Not a bad fight though. So we'll start with Josh Emmett, the veteran in this case. 40 years old, so he's obviously closer to the end of his career than he is to the beginning of it, but still got insane power. We saw that in his last fight against Bryce Mitchell, and he also in a fight that's aged very well. He went the distance with Ilia Tapura, obviously the world featherweight champion. I don't know if he still is featherweight champion. Didn't he vacated the belt, hasn't he? Now actually, to go up to lightweight. So well, anyway, uh, the best guy at 145 in any case, and Josh Emmett anyway is up against Leroy Murphy, who's yeah, he's undefeated prospects, isn't he? 15-0 with one draw. Um, Usually goes the distance in his fights, so he's not the most fan friendly style, not the most exciting of fights. It's hard, I suppose, to. I suppose it's probably hard for a lot of fans to probably get on board with that, which is why he's not as well rated as he should be. But he is a very good prospect. Don't look at his record and see all those decisions thinking no, he struggles to finish because he is very, very skillful and, in my opinion, belongs up there with some of the best of featherweight. Not quite all the way right at the top in terms of title contention or anything like that, but this is the right sort of fight for him to be in. And Josh Emmett obviously still a very, very tough opponent, but personally, I think this is one of the rare times where I'm actually going to side with youth over experience and go with Leroy Murphy to win by decision. But enough about my ramblings. That's not what you're here for. You're here to see who you're going to get drawn with in the Tapology Lucky Bastard game, or this round of it anyway, or for those of you left in anyway. And we have Baron von Rattus up first. Let's see who Baron von Rattus is going to get drawn with. And he gets probably the biggest favourite on the card, Loma Lookboonmee. Loma Lookboonmee. That's a fun name, isn't it? And yeah, huge favourite. She's not sure what the odds are. Yeah, sure, I made a note of them somewhere, but massive odds. Um, 9 wins, 3 losses, and mostly wins by decision. But she's got very good grappling, so submissions are always a threat with her. And she's up against Distella Nunes, who's not a bad fighter, but not on Look Boonme's level. Let's be honest. Um, so yeah, it's a bit of a mismatch. There's no other way of there's no other way of coaching that really. That is a mismatch. I mean, Nunes not a bad fighter as I've said, but she is in bad form as of late. On a bit of a losing streak. Uh, Personally, I've gone with Look Boomy to win by first round submission in that one. But I think we can safely conclude that Baron von Rassus is through to the second round already. But anyway, next to face the wheel, see if the wheel's going to be as kind to is Bellatrix. Let's see who the wheel's got in store for Bellatrix. And Bellatrix gets Dione Barboza, starting with two women's fighters this time. Uh, and Diane Barboza, yeah, I think I spelled that right. I thought it was Diane, but no, it's Dione. But again, she's up against Diana Belbita. Probably not pronounced that right because there's a lot of accents in that name. And Belbita's the more experienced, but Barbosa, yeah, she's the better fighter, even though you wouldn't have guessed it just looking at the records, but there's 7 wins and 3 losses. Doesn't look outstanding on paper, but it's just really a question of whether she wins by a decision or submission in this one. Uh, Quite a lot of her wins come by submission. That's definitely a strong point. And well, we so the only reason the only reason I don't I've gone with Barbosa by decision, I should add. But the only reason I don't think she wins by submission this time is just because Belbita is a very durable fighter. She's obviously more experienced as well, so she'll be able to sort of survive in there. But I can't see her getting anything out of this fight in terms of a result. I can see this being a very, very one-sided, unanimous decision win for Diane Barboza, and in turn, a spot in the third round for Bellatrix. Okay, so Boom Shakalaka is up next. Rare appearance into the second round, but welcome to the second round. Let's see who you get drawn with. And yeah, Stella Nunes. Okay. Well, that's not not great, let's be honest. So head to head anyway, so that makes it a bit more interesting. Baron von Rattus now obviously up against Boom Shakalaka. Stella Nunes, well, now she's come up again. I suppose better dive into her a little bit deeper, other than just saying she um good but completely outmatched in this one. I've mentioned obviously she's in a bit of a bad form as of late, and yeah, she's on a 4-fight losing streak, and the last two with two of those last two being by knockout, which yeah, that's that's not really the sort of form you want coming into a fight against Loma Lookboonmee. So it was great to have you in the second round, Boom, but uh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I think this is where the little journey ends. And unless of course we get a major, major upset. But moving on then to Captain Quebec. Let's see who Captain Quebec gets drawn with. Uh, See if it'll be a man this time, maybe. Or is it? Oh, yeah, it is. It's Torres Finney. Torres Finney there for um, Captain Quebec. It's one of the coolest names. I love that name, Torres Finney. And it's a cool spelling of Torres as well, with a Z instead of an S. Undefeated as well. 10 and 0. Obviously, we've seen him quite a lot on Contender Series. Funny enough, he's gone 3 and 0 on the Contender Series, which normally most fighters only get one or two fights on there. But here he's had three on there. I'm not quite sure the politics of it all, why he wasn't given a contract straight away exactly. I don't know, but definitely earned his place in the promotion, and I can see him getting off to a good start. I've got him to win by first round knockout against Robert Valentin. Um, he lost on his UFC debut. He made his debut in his last fight and lost that one by ground and pound, and which against a knockout artist like Torres Finney is just not what you want, really. That's again is it almost feels like sometimes the UFC matchmakers do this shit deliberately. I'm just like, okay, look, we've got a knockout artist. We're gonna take another contender series fighter who lost by knockout in their last fight. Let's pair them up. That's a nice even fight. Yeah, let's do that. Don't understand what's going on, but anyway, uh, as much as I've questioned UFC's matchmaking at some time, it's Captain Quebec's going to be happy that he's on the right side of that matchmaking. Right, Costradamus next to face the wheel. Let's see who Costradamus gets paired with for tomorrow night's action. And he gets paired with Diana Belbita. Obviously, Ladies' Day tomorrow. Uh, Kind of fitting actually, seeing it's Grand National tomorrow, isn't it? That's a big horse race, by the way. Got a pound on an horse called Twig. Anyway, that has nothing to do with the game, but good luck Twig and good luck Costradamus. Anyway, um, Diana Belbita for Costradamus, obviously a massive underdog. Tough, durable fighter, but yeah, I just can't see her getting anything out of this one against Diane Barbosa, who's actually the biggest favourite on the card. Minus 1,000 in American betting odds. God knows what that actually translates. I think that's like 1 to 10 or something, but because we use fractions over here. But yeah, it doesn't bell well. I mean, Diana Bell beats us plus 650, so which is a little harsh, but she isn't winning anyway, so I suppose the odds don't matter if it's a losing fighter. But yeah, Costradamus, I can't see you getting anything out of that one, but I hope you enjoy your little battle anyway with Bellatrix anyway, because Bellatrix and Diane Barbosa with Costradamus up against Diana Belbita, and obviously the other women's fights that had come up. That's also a head-to-head as well, which is quite interesting actually, because given how from a statistical standpoint that we've done five so far, and four of those five have been women's fighters, which is quite surprising and makes a pleasant change to how it normally goes because obviously on UFC cards the men um, massively outnumber the women on it. Uh, of these 12 fights, there's only three of them are women's fights, but it's good to see the women represented a bit more by the wheel. Uh, anyway, before I probably go on a ramble about how the Will's become a feminist or get myself cancelled or some shit, let's move on to It's Your Boy SB. Let's see who he's going to get drawn with. Uh, See if he ends up in that. Oh, no, he doesn't end up with uh, one of those women's matchups. He ends up with Gerald Mercheret. Gerald Mercheret there for It's Your Boy SB. Um, every time he comes up, I think I always, and that is not how you spell Mercheret, but I've no clue. Um, I always think he's Dutch with that name. I don't know why. But anyway, one thing I always like about Gerald Mercier is that he's always very active. He has quick turnarounds, even after coming off a loss, which he is this time up against the guy they brought over from one, Rene de Ridder, who yeah, ironically actually is Dutch. Uh, and But still, he made a good account for himself in that fight. Made it a tougher fight than a lot of people were expecting. More of a tougher fight than I was expecting. Um, and he's still very dangerous on the ground. Before that one, he was on a two-fight win streak with submissions coming in those fights. So he's certainly not without a chance. I've got him to win by second round sub here against Brad Tavares, who's on a two-fight losing streak and lost four out of his last five. Uh, so again, this is kind of what I mean about the matchmaking. It's just like I mean, I suppose this one's a bit fairer because okay, Merceret's coming off of a loss himself as well, but it was a fight that he didn't really have much of a chance in. So it's almost giving him a bounce back fight. It almost feels like maybe Tavares can pull something out of the bag, perhaps, but um, I can't see it happening. It might probably goes the distance, but I think Merceret's going to be too strong on the ground for him. So yeah, second round submissions. What I've got Merceret down for. Okay, so Jack Sotto's next up to face the wheel. Let's see. Um, yeah, I feel like besides obviously the ones that got massive underdogs for the women, the wheel's actually been all right. Been kind of. I like that. Jack Soto anyway. Next to learn his fate at the hands of the wheel, and he gets Uran Satwibaldiev. I know I haven't pronounced that right, so I apologize to him and uh, apologize for the spelling of his name because I know I've not spelt it right neither. And uh, I mean, first off, I just want to give him massive praise for actually taking this fight because obviously he's a late replacement. Uh, and especially at heavyweight, that's a dangerous thing to do. You can't just step in on a day's notice against Marcin Bide like this. Is shows incredible bollocks. So it's fair play to him. Um, and putting his undefeated record on the line as well in doing so, 9-0. Um, he's got great pedigree. Comes into this full of confidence. Obviously, a former um, LFA light heavyweight champion, which again, that's another thing to know. He's coming up a weight for this one. He's normally fights at light heavyweight and short notice jumping up a weight. It's you can't fault the guy. I made a fan of me already for that, just for taking the fight, and I'm not going to think anything less of him, regardless of how this fight goes. Having said that, I do have Martin Bidet winning this by decision. So I've gone with decision purely because Bidet actually goes quite the distance quite a lot, which not a bad thing because he's very good, shows good cardio, especially for a heavyweight. Most heavyweights his level in the UFC, they're gas out halfway through the second, but he's looks good in his fights and can stay for the whole 15 minutes and usually gets his hand raised at the end of it as well. Um, Probably has enough energy left to actually raise his own arm under his own steam. Probably doesn't even need the ref to lift his arm up for him at the end of the fight. Um, but yeah, I have gone with Martin Bidet, but believe me, yeah, I'm rooting for you, Uran Sati Baldiev, and rooting for you as well, Jack Sosso. So I'd like to see him uh, maintain his unbeaten streak, especially taking it short notice like he is. But I don't think it is going to happen, unfortunately. But let's hope. Right, okay, moving on to our champion KK Kombu, who survived the first round again. Let's see if he'll survive the second. See what his chances are. And he gets Ode Osborne. Ode Osborne, there for KK Kombu. And it's not. It definitely could be worse. Definitely could be. But he has got the underdog in this one against Lewis Guruli. Again, I know I've not pronounced that one right, so I apologise for that. Um, all right, so Ode Osborne definitely the more experienced of the fighters, but by considerable distance actually. 12 wins, 8 losses. That's twice as many fights as Lewis Gurul does, with 10 wins, no losses. Uh, but Osborne is on a 3-fight losing streak and lost 4 out of his last 5. Um, Submitted as well a couple of times during that streak as well. So he's again not coming into this with great form. But Lewis Gurul, on the other hand, is making his UFC debut. Again, mostly wins by decision. So uh, that's what I've gone down as here as well. I've gone to win by decision again. And Ode Osborne, even if Guru was a little bit more explosive than he is, I've still got Osborne to survive because, as I say, very durable. But yeah, I think Lewis takes this one. So not the worst, and I can and to be fair, that would certainly be a statement for Ode, wouldn't it, if he could break his UFC streak by his losing streak by beating an undefeated prospect fresh off the Contender Series, then yeah, that'd be a real statement. But it does almost feel like he's fighting for his place in the promotion at this point. Um, so maybe that'd be maybe that sort of light a fire up his arse. I don't know. Maybe that'd be the motivation he needs to turn his fortunes around. Never, never underestimate what a desperate man can do. Okay, so we are on to Rigno next. Let's see who Rigno gets paired with. And Rigno gets Victor Henry. Victor Henry there for Rigno. I always feel tempted to pronounce it as Henri, like Thierry Henry. Like, again, footballer for anyone that doesn't follow football. Well, former footballer anyway. But yeah, no, Victor Henry. And I've got him to win by decision this time. It's a close fight, though. I have gone back and forth a few times, so this is a real 50-50 one. Um, again, this is another one of these. Well, it's not really a veteran, but it's comparative veteran, I suppose, compared to his opponent. But yeah, 24 wins, 7 losses. He's still getting results though, to be fair to him. So he's not just they're not just keeping him around. He's definitely earning his keep in the UFC. So he's still getting some good results. So and he's keeping himself active as well. Like a praise Merchant for Victor Henry is also very active as well with quick turnarounds. So I admire always admire fighters that uh, bounce back quickly. And suppose partly because of that, he keeps his momentum going as well, which what massive factor contributing to why he's keeps grinding out all these wins. But obviously, it's not always smooth sailing. It's not like he's going on some massive winning streak or anything. But he gets enough wins to justify his place in the promotion. Pedro Falcao, on the other hand, um, he lost his UFC debut, so again, this is another case to see if he belongs in the promotion. But unlike most contender series, he comes into this one with a 16-4 record. So it's normally it's guys that have got maybe 10 fights under their belt, not 20, that come through the contender series. And he's got some very respectable regional fights under his belt. He's fought in Shoto, Brazil, Shoto, Brazil rather. Shoto, I don't know, but which used to be bigger well, not a few days back, a few years back, but it's definitely still a noteworthy promotion. I'd take that over some random promotion I've never heard of. Um, but I don't think he's troubling Victor Henry too much, but um, it is close. I know I've just kind of contradicted myself there, but I mean, I can't see what I mean by that. Just to try and articulate a bit better what I meant was I don't think he's gonna be in any situations where he really hurts Henry badly with a powerful strike or gets him in a really dangerous sub or anything like that. Uh, I can see this being quite a tactical affair, but if anything, it'd be probably Henry pushing the action, taking this to the ground probably. Um, but we'll see how it turns out. I'm probably just chatting a load of shit now, really. But anyway, we'll before I go rambling too far off course, let's move on to Shat. Let's see who Shat gets drawn with. Why the fuck do I keep getting adverts for the National Theatre? I never even go to the theatre. Anyway, he Shat gets drawn with Chang Ho Lee. Chang Ho Lee there for Shat, and I'm feeling fairly confident in him, to be honest. It's got him to win by decision. He's won his UFC debut last time out against Long Zhao, and obviously came to the promotion via the Road to UFC series. And he looked good on that, and he's looked good in his debut. There's not much to fault him on. That's about all we can ask for someone at this stage in his career. 10-1, a little bit inexperienced perhaps, but he's he's shown good. But you can't really, uh, yeah, hasn't really put a foot wrong. And obviously, experience has just come with time. And his opponent's not awfully much more experienced either. He's up against Cortelius Romeus. Which honestly, that sounds like a character from Monty Python's Life of Brian, doesn't it? But cool name though as well. Just sort of saying about Torres Finney. And I apologise to him if I've not pronounced that right. Um, but yeah, he's 9-3, so only one more fight overall um than Chang Ho Lee. Uh, Unlike Chang Ho Lee, he lost his UFC debut last time out. And lost by unanimous decision, but before coming to the promotion, he fought in LFA a few times, and he's obviously come up again through the contender series, as pretty much all these guys do these days. So it's a close fight between two prospects, but one that I can't see Chang Ho Lee having any trouble in. To be honest, I'm probably more confident on him than I should be, but uh, I would be very surprised if he didn't win. And by that logic, I'll be very surprised if we don't see Shat in the next round. Okay, so down to our last five now. It's Schwer Industry next to learn his fate. And he gets one of the main eventers, Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett there for um, Schwer Industry. And as I've mentioned in the introduction as well, I've got Murphy to win by decision. It's not impossible he could get another win, and it's especially with we saw the power he possesses against uh, Bryce Mitchell in his last fight. I knew he was a hard hitter, but that was Jesus, that was a hell of a that's the sort of that's a career changing knockout that, and obviously there's always the risk, obviously, that he could catch Lerone Murphy uh like that, but can I see it happening? Not really, not really, to be honest. Murphy's got better stand up than Bryce Mitchell does for a start, and that's so I think he'd be able to avoid that, and um, obviously be aware of what he knows. Obviously, Josh Emmett well, so he's going to be well aware of that, and he'll be no doubt him and his team will have got a game plan to try and uh, lessen the effects of any potential strike like that coming his way. Well, I mean, well, if it lands, he can't really lessen it, but I mean, lessen the chance of it landing anyway. Um, I mean, if he does hit, you're fucking done, aren't you? Waking up in the next decade. Jeez. But anyway, what does this mean for his chances in the game? Not completely out of it, but far from safe. Far from secure this spot in the next round. Right. Okay. It is me up next. Let's see who I'm going to get drawn with. I've been knocked out in the first round a few times, quite uh, last few games it seems. So glad I've made the second. Will I make the third? Let's have a little look, see who the wheel's going to give me. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that. One of the fighters with a cool name that I've mentioned earlier, Torres Finney. So and one of the fighters I've got to win by first round knockout. So yeah, that is nice. I like the wheels decided to be kind to me, and obviously by the same logic, Captain Quebec as well, who also has Torres Finney earlier. Um, I say complete knockout machine, and making his long-awaited, long overdue UFC debut. Um, after his three fights on the Contender Series. And does Robert Valentin have anything for him? Not really. It's again, it's just another of these really bad matchups. That how does Hunter Campbell sleep at night? Seriously, how does he doing all these? If it is him that does it for the fight nights, I'm not sure. I know he does quite a lot of the matchmaking though. I'm gonna give him the blame for it anyway. But in any case, the UFC uh, they really do some questionable matchmaking, but works in my favour this time. Works in the favour for me in terms of the Lucky Bastard game. Right, so we move on to Troz next. So let's see who Troz will be matched with. And Troz gets Talita Alencar. Talita Alencar there for Troz. And up against Vanessa Demopoulious. I know I've not pronounced that right, so I apologise to Vanessa and Greek people everywhere. Um, so, and anyone capable of pronouncing well, anyone capable of pronouncing that word or that name anyway. That's I quite frankly have no analysts for because it's in my opinion a 50-50 fight. The only difference between them, as far as I can tell, is Vanessa has more UFC experience than Talisa does. But in terms of skills, in terms of what I've seen of them, um, this is, yeah, this is a very 50-50 fight. Both fighters do tend to go the distance quite a lot, though. So, what the only thing I can be certain of is that it will go the full 15 minutes. But this is a coin flip. uh, quite simply. And I'm just going with Vanessa, based probably because I'm a little bit more biased, I suppose, because I'm more familiar with her, and that could quite literally be the only reason. But this is a very intriguing fight there to see if Troz makes his way into the third round. Right, down to our last two, the penultimate one, Uber matched, is going to face the wheel, going to learn his fate, what awaits him. And he also gets paired with Josh Emmett in the main event. Um, so that's two on Josh Emmett with him and Schwer Industry. And I say he's got the experience, potentially. Trying, I've spoken a lot about Leroy Murphy, and so uh, how he often goes the distance, and he's picked up some good wins as well. Dan Inge, Barboza as well. Edson Barboza. I couldn't think what his first name was for a second. I was going to say it's not Edward, is it? No, it's Edson. But yeah, no. But Josh Emmett has fought better people than them. That's all I'm saying. Is he's been in with everyone at featherweight, and it's always he's always put up a good showing in it as well, like he did against Tapiria, and so it's possible he could grind out a win, but this it has been a little while though since his last fight. That Bryce Mitchell fight I mentioned earlier, over a year ago now. I didn't even realize that until I was doing my research for this last night. Um, didn't feel it doesn't feel like a year. It feels like maybe 6-7 months, but Um, and obviously age isn't on his side, but 40 years old, but you can never count him out though. Never ever count Josh Emmett out of the fight. So an underdog, but not complete no hoper. And anyway, finally, we move on to ex-con Chris. Let's see who ex-con Chris is being paired with. And he is also on Ode Osborne. Uh, as is KK Kombu earlier. So ride or die with the current Lucky Bastard Game champion. And yeah, as I was saying, it's Ode Osborne's a decent fighter, but in very bad form as of late. Needs to improve his submission game, and as I mentioned earlier, it does feel like he could be cut from the UFC sooner rather than later if he doesn't turn things around. And Lewis Guruli is not the sort of yeah, it's not really the ideal opponent to try and turn this around against. An undefeated prospect is again this is UFC matchmaking for you, isn't it? Um, but yeah, that's he's going to need a bit of luck. Not completely out of it, but not a complete no hoper, but definitely going to need a bit of luck. Okay, so that concludes our draw for the second round of the Tapology Lucky Bastard game. Uh, just run through those names again. We have Baron von Rattus with Loma Lookboonmi, Bellatrix with Dione Barboza, Boom Shakalaka with Estella Nunez, Captain Quebec with Torres Finney, Costradamus with Diana Belbita, uh, It's Your Boy SB with Gerald Mersheret, Jack Soto with Uran Sati Baldiev, KK Kombu with Ode Osborne, Rigno with Victor Henry, Shat with Chang Ho Lee, Schwer Industry with Josh Emmett, me also with Torres Finney, one of the coolest names on the card, uh, Troz with Talita Alencar, Uber match with Josh Emmett, and XCOM Chris with Ode Osborne. So that concludes our second round draw. Uh, Bit of a mixed bag, isn't it? Um, I think realistically we can expect about half the field to get eliminated, half you to go through to the third. Quite a few head-to-heads in that actually, so that's quite interesting to keep an eye on. But until next week, good luck with the with this game for those of you obviously still in it. Good luck with your picks and Tapology. If you got any bets on this card, which I don't, but I do have my pound on Twig in the Grand National tomorrow. So good luck, Twig. And until next time, so long for now.